Hi, my name's Kate. I'm also known as Two Little Kits. Welcome to my second FlossTube. I hope you're having a great day. I'm pretty excited to show you a couple of new things and some things that I've worked on, and to just chat about some bits and pieces that, have sort of either been on my mind or I thought were kind of interesting to chat about. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is something that I do quite regularly. I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. Of course, they both love going to the playground. Whenever I take them, I've always, pretty much always, am taking my stitching with me. And I still feel awkward and strange about doing that, and I don't know why. And so I guess I wondered, for those of you who have young kids and you go to the playground as you do as a parent with young kids, do you feel peculiar about people like looking at what you're doing? I feel like I wouldn't feel as odd about it if some people made comments or asked me questions, but all I get is just like this sort of like a look that people do. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like after being a parent for over 7 years now, I shouldn't feel strange about doing something that brings me joy during downtime, because I'm not the kind of parent that is gonna run around and chase after my kids while they're playing. They have better things to do and people to introduce themselves to than to have their old mum chasing them and taking up their time when they could be meeting new friends and stuff. I guess it's just it's probably something just with me, that it's the assumption that people are judging me, that I should be playing with my kids and blah 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 blah. I just wondered if anyone had a similar feeling regarding that kind of scenario. The other thing that kind of ties in with that is, as I mentioned in my first video, I live in America, and so right now it's summer break from school, and I don't get as much time to stitch as I would like. I don't know if it's just because I have a very needy 5-year-old, and as mentioned in my last video, my 7-year-old is special needs, so there's that. I don't know. So I guess what I'm asking is, for those of you who are doing a pandemic during summer for the second year in a row with young kids, how are you finding time to stitch? Are you not finding time, I guess, to stitch, like me? Are you setting aside time? Are you just finding time in the evenings? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be very curious. Yeah. I am kind of just looking forward to the end of August. My eldest did virtual school for the entirety of the last school year, and my youngest was too young to do virtual school in the district we were in, so there was that. It's probably a combination of many things, that it's COVID and it's having young kids and not having family nearby, that I'm just not finding enough time to do the things that I'd like to do. Anyway, not to be too much of a downer. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the lack of decoration up here. So when I recorded my first FlossTube, I didn't think I'd actually record the second one this quickly after the first one. So I have an online order coming in this week, in 2 days, not that I'm counting, of all the stuff that I mentioned that's coming. And So my wall is still pretty boring. So I did promise, and I'm sorry that I'm breaking that promise, but I can't wait to... I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm looking forward to spending some time decorating and setting up my little area. As I mentioned in the first video, everybody in my family has their own room. So my kids have their own bedrooms. My husband has his office because he works from home because COVID. So everyone has their own room, whereas I don't have a whole room. So I have a nook in this quite large room, which is a playroom because kids. And so I'm looking forward to just decking out this little tiny corner that I have, which has my shelves and is gonna have shelves and stuff and pretty things. And there's a painting that my kid did for me. She told me that she did it for me, which is hard to believe, I'll be honest, because she will go out of her way to give me trash and say that she got it for me. So, but I like it, so whatever. Anyway, fingers crossed, hopefully next video will be more interesting background. Next thing I'm going to talk about is Needleminders. So I can't remember if I mentioned, I think I mentioned this on my stream, so that's a whole other topic, but we'll put a pin on that. I cannot find all my Needleminders from the move that we've done. I'm like really sad that I had all these Needleminders. I had enamel pins as well that I still hadn't converted into Needleminders. But I've got all these missing Needleminders right now, and I'm really bummed out because I use them for more than just minding my needle. I use them to like hold the fabric away and to wrap up floss and just keep it pinned there for a sec, and to hold my pattern in place so it doesn't fly away. And yeah, I'm really bummed. And I that was a question that I wanted to ask as well. What is your favorite needle minder? If you've got links to like someone's online store, awesome. Even if it's enamel pins that you've converted into needle minders, let me know. As soon as I figured out how to convert an enamel pin into a needle minder, I'm kind of obsessed about making them now. So please let me know in the comments below where you get your enamel pins or needle minders or both, because I want more. Sorry to my husband. The tangent from there is my stream. I recorded my last FlossTube before my last stream, even though it was posted after. That makes sense? Anyway, so I mentioned on my stream on Thursday, the 15th, that I'd lost my needle minders and I couldn't find them. And I mean, I talked about a whole bunch of other things because I was streaming for 3 hours. So of course I talked about a whole bunch of other things. But that reminded me that I wanted to bring up how lonely streaming has been for me. I'm really hoping that I can somehow pick it up and get some viewers during my streams. So if you are on Twitch TV, then I'll put a link in the description below about where you can subscribe to my channel. But if that's kind of your jam, please try to say hey while I'm streaming. That would be great. It's like a massive boost of dopamine for me whenever I get a subscribe or just a hello in the chat. And I only mention this because the 3 hours that I did stream, I got so much done. I didn't have any kids to worry about. I didn't have my husband coming to ask me questions. And oh my God, I just remembered that I have a little sticker on my face because I just brushed my eye. So I've got this little star on my face that my daughter gave to me. I didn't know where to put it. Oh my God, that means I've had it on my face for like 9 hours now and I've totally forgotten it was there. Even though my husband said to me at dinner time, don't forget you've got a star on your face. Whatever, I'll leave it there. It's cute. It's got glitter on it. Anyway, what was I saying? As a tangent, if you're not aware, I have ADHD, so that's fun. I only got diagnosed a couple of months ago. I've talked about it on my website. I'll post the blog URL to that in the description below if you're curious. What was I talking about? Streaming. So I found the whole time I was streaming that it was really good for accountability. And if I can somehow build up that dopamine hit of getting a hello from someone or having a chat with someone while I'm doing it, that would be even better. As well as keeping that accountability so that I get more work done on my stitching, which in turn helps my mental health and gives me more of a dopamine hit. Basically what I'm saying is, if you are willing and if you would like to, please follow me on Twitch and say hey. I stream on Thursdays the stream starts at 8 p.m. Pacific time, and I'd love to see you. Even if you're just watching, that would be so good. I will show you once I start showing off what I've been working on this week, just how much stuff I got done. It's crazy. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to bring up was no one suggested any patterns that I should go and purchase. So I wanted to give some examples. I don't have visuals, but the 3 shops that I frequent to just admire, they're all on Etsy. I whenever I can, I always go to someone's actual online shop and not their Etsy store. Anyway, the 3 that I really like are Fuzzy Fox Designs, Satsuma Street, and Cute Patterns by Maria. They're the 3 that I really like. I follow them all on Instagram. I highly recommend them just for inspiration and adorable patterns. They're the 3 that I am likely gonna get my first FlossTube work in progress pattern from. So let me know if any of those 3 you know of and there's a pattern that you've done that you highly suggest, etc, etc. The last thing I want to talk about just quickly is my Ort jar. So if you don't know what Ort stands for, it means old ratty threads. And basically some silly people like myself save all of my little cuts of threads and put them in a jar. And so this year I started embroidery stuff, a lot more than I had in previous years. And I happen to have almost filled my Ort jar. So this is my Ort jar. Hopefully that focuses. And I'll spin it around. Look, this is all the fluffy dog that I did that I'll talk about later. But this is my Ort jar for the first 6 months of this year. And normally a jar of this size would take me the whole year to fill up. So I mean, I can like squish it down so there's more space if I really wanted to, but I kind of like being able to see the layers. Anyway, oh, that was magnets. I decided, and I'm probably going to turn this into an Instagram reel or something like that. I decided to get myself a new jar. So this is the new jar and this is the old jar. And I'm thinking about putting this into this and calling this my 2021 jar. So let me know your thoughts. If you have an Ort jar, that would be awesome. I would love to see pictures of them. I don't know why, but I find them fascinating. I mean, like, I save them like when I'm out. I save all my tiny little scrappy threads. Like that's one, and I have another one. Here's another one. Like, I need to merge them all into my orchard. I'm a crazy person, what can I say? Anyway, show me pictures of your orchards is my point. And let me know what you think about using a massive jar like this. Oh. I have my previous year's ones. I have 2018 somewhere. I don't know where it is, unfortunately. So this is 2019. Like how cool is that? And then this is last year. This is 2020. And so that's the whole year worth of projects. Look at all that green. That's from my I survived 2020 on my island. I think they're so cool. And like in the 2019 one, I can see like all of the Overwatch pattern colors in there. Like that fuzzy bit there. That fuzzy bit there is May from Overwatch. Like, why do I know those things? As I said, I'm a crazy person. So I have a 2018 one, and I know I didn't throw it away. It's moved. It's done a couple of house moves now, so it's somewhere. And I know it's 2018 that I'm missing because I actually wrote 2018 on the lid, and I haven't written it on those two. Anyway, so let's move on to works in progress. So the first one is going to be my smallest one. So these are my little swatches. I've done at least 4. So like there's one that I've done. And you'll be able to see them when I put them up on my wall. Again, I have to put them all back in order, in number order, which is going to be a pain. It's going to be a pain, but it'll be worth it. I might not actually put them all up in number order, I'll be honest, because I eventually, once it's all done, God, that's going to take a long time. But once it's all done, I want to put them in color order because I want to see the pretty rainbow that happens whenever you do color order. But I want to be able to see them physically in color order because I store all my floss in number order. So anyway, I've been working on those. I've done, yeah, about half a dozen or so since my last floss tube. I've done over 100 now, so I've still got like at least 350, not 400, because I definitely have done 100 since I last counted. But anyway, there's still lots to go basically. What else have I been doing? So I've done that. That's what this little scrappy thread pack is. So you can see my other little squares that I've got numbers on. I just haven't finished the color part of it. The next thing is I finished this one. So this is my giveaway piece that I did. I just finished hooping it today. I'm very excited. I was nervous about doing Mum's hair, but I think it came out really well. Here's the back. So this is the last little bit of this fabric that I had left over. And I wanted to go with the little tiny yellow flowers and tie in the yellow. And you can't probably tell very well because of the lighting, but the running stitch that I've done around the edges is in a navy blue, so that matches with their jeans and their denim jackets. So I think that's very cute, and I love her tiny little bow as well. Hopefully that focuses on there. So that's all done. So I am hoping to get that in the mail in the next day or so. And I just got to make sure that I've taken all of my social media pictures and whatnot of that. So that's done. Yay! I've been working on this piece, this behemoth. As you can see, there are some more people, and I've started the planet that's here. So this is what I've been doing at the playground. I managed to miscount 3 separate times because dark colored fabric, yay. So I've actually done more stitching than what you can see here. I've just had to unpick stuff, which is a bit frustrating, but it is what it is. To redo my grid, you can probably barely see it. There's tiny little white dots, like there's one right there that you can see, and because it's a dark fabric, I use a water-soluble white pencil to mark out my grid. But because it's a pencil, it just rubs off from friction, so that's a little bit frustrating. You know what, before I show the last thing, because that's the most work I've done this week, I'll show you some fabric that I've gotten that I'm excited to find a project for. So I have this, these are all from 123 Stitch, just first. So this is, it's like dark grey that I have, chalkboard black, I think, what is it? Yeah, chalkboard black. And I've got like a really big cut of it. It's massive. What size? 18 by 25. Whew. But it has a little bit of a bluey green tinge to it in natural daylight, but I like that it's not pure black, so it won't be as annoying to stitch with. But yeah, so I just got to find a cool project for that. I have half of this fabric, so you can see I've cut the top of it because I used it for a different project. I've got this Mirage Ada, which is super soft, like crazy soft. So it definitely, I have to put it in a hoop to stitch it, otherwise it's just like bleh, it just flops. But the holes are, like the weave is really tight, so it kind of gives an even weave look when you're stitching with it. It's just, and it's, yeah, that sort of misty, smoky kind of color. I think it's gorgeous, and I'm really mad that I only got a 12 by 17 of it. I mentioned earlier in the video that I'm waiting for my order from 123 Stitch to come still, unfortunately. Hoping that I'll get it this week, fingers crossed. But I put another order in for that fabric because I think it's gorgeous. And the last bit of fabric is another dark one because I apparently hate my eyes. But how gorgeous is this one? What's it called? Dusk Ada fabric. It's another 14 count. I do most of my projects on 14 count. But this is another only 12 by 17 piece of fabric. But it's also really soft and really floppy. So it's another one that'll just blur if I were to stitch in hand. But like the weave is really tight, so the holes are small, which I'm now realizing is going to be a nightmare to stitch with because it's so dark, but it just is so pretty. It's so pretty. Anyway, so I have to figure out what I'm going to stitch on that one as well. So that's some fabric that I've had for a while that I just wanted to share because haul, right? Anyway, so the last thing that I've been working on is what I was streaming. I haven't touched it since the stream on Thursday, but I've gotten really far with it because I got to stitch it for 2.5 hours. But this has come a long way. There's a lot done. I've done the turkey work on her little vest. And I'm debating on the dog because I remember doing the turkey work. That's why it's got this little like loose frilly bit, because I can trim it if I don't end up doing the turkey work. But I remember the turkey work taking so much time when I did it in the original piece. Because as a reminder, I've made this one already and it got lost in the mail. So I'm having to redo it. But yeah, I've also done her little shoulder bits. Let me just peer and see if you can see that. There's just little tiny cast on stitches, which is so cute. And I did his facial hair, so he doesn't look like a weirdo now. And I hate doing stitch people's suits, so I got that over with. And yeah, I've sketched out roughly where the florals are gonna be. So I'll probably continue working on that this Thursday, which will be yesterday when I post this on the internet. So that's nice and confusing. So that, yeah, I'm excited. I got a lot done on that piece. I'm really, really, really appreciative of my customer for being so patient and understanding with this piece. But I'm just so tired of this piece because it's the second time I'm stitching it. It's just not the same. So I was thinking about this from my last video. If I was commissioned to do multiple of the same design, I think that would be different than having to redo it because someone else messed up. Someone misdelivered this. So it wasn't my fault. Yeah, I don't know. It feels different than if someone asked me to make 2 or 3 or 10, oh God, of one design. So that's pretty much everything that I have to talk about today. I've just checked my notes and yeah, that's everything that I wanted to chat about. I would love to hear your comments about the things that I've asked you to comment on if you're willing. Like this video if you like it, and subscribe if you like my content. That would be great. And hopefully you catch me on my stream that happened yesterday, so thanks if you did. And I say yesterday obviously because I'm posting this in the future and I recorded it in the past, and that totally makes sense. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have an awesome day. I hope you enjoy stitching. I hope you don't leave too many work in progresses behind, and I will catch you in the next video. See you later.